and welcome to Leanne's Weekly Weigh-In. I am Leanne, and this week on my scales I lost £2, which is a grand total of, drumroll please, 3 stone. Yes, I have lost 3 whole stone, and I am coming to you from lockdown. Now this is a little bit different, isn't it? This is the front room of the Mansion Rivet, and I don't usually come down here because this is also where those two little beasties live, and Poppy and Buster, the Pops and the Boo, they are here. I have fed them, so hopefully they will not make a sound. But famous last words, never work with children and animals, and I work with both. So let's get on with the weekly doings. So what have I got to talk about? Well, actually, not much really, because I just wanted to come on here and say, how are you all getting on? I'm doing okay. I've had a bit of ups and downs, but it's been a bit of a bizarre one. If you've been doing your Slimming World or your Weight Watchers meetings, I don't know what Weight Watchers are doing, but I know that Slimming World, we're doing our meetings via Zoom, and they're really good. I really enjoy doing them, but it's nothing like actually going to your group. I had a bit of a conundrum earlier on this week. I was talking to my friend Carol. Hello to Carol out there. She's not been going on Zoom for the time being because she's still waiting for her scales to come. And the big thing on Slimming World is they don't like you to have scales. However, I have got scales, and I do weigh myself every time I go into the bathroom, which is a real bad thing, isn't it? It's a bad habit, but do you know what? I don't mind. This is what I do. If I can have that type of habit, I think that's a better habit to have, being a serial scale jumper of honour, than anything else. But I think that people are finding it a bit difficult. Some people are doing it really, really well. We've had new people join as well, which is fantastic. So if you're a new person who has joined Slimming World or Weight Watchers and you're doing it virtually, kudos to you. You are living your extra life, and I am so, so proud of you for doing that. Have I lost £2 in a week? Well, the week before we didn't do a weigh-in. Paul and I, we were doing the live one, the last live stream we did. It didn't go down too well because the bandwidth was a bit bizarre, and also we've been doing them on a Sunday, and Sunday nights here in where we live, we've got a choir at the street, and we live in quite a bohemian area, so we've got actors and musicians that live all around us. Greenwich is a real renowned place for having that sort of thing. And our street actually has got a singer and 2 guitarists. I play the flute, and what they do is they come out with the AP and started singing. So a couple of weeks ago when we did the live one, the last time we did the live one, we were coming to the end. The reason we were coming to the end because we could hear this all noise outside, and it was the first time they were doing it. So we decided to go outside to investigate, and they were singing Let It Be and all of that. And what we've done on Nextdoor, I don't know if anybody else has been on nextdoor.co.uk, but you can actually meet up with your whole neighbourhood. And it's really great to be part of your community, because even though we're not actually physically going out, it's nice to be able to stand out. And who's loving going out on a Thursday evening at 8 o'clock and cheering our key workers and our NHS and our shop staff and, everybody that is doing their bit to help support us that are the Joe public and those that are very, very ill in this horrible, horrible time. So there are good things out there, and one of the other good things is that we have got this community choir. So now on a Sunday evening we go out there and I play my flute. Last week we did a medley of Simon and Garfunkel. Wasn't too sure about that one, but it was actually quite good. We had a good time. Anyway, I'm digressing because we were talking about Slimming World, weren't we? So yeah, I find it very, very difficult not being part of my community, but I have my online community. I have my my virtual friends anyway. I've still got Debbie and Tracy and Sarah and Kate and all of those that we chat to. And it's great to see you all on Judy and the two Simbaries. It's great to see you all every day on there. And you're all doing so well, and you're being so positive. And I'd rather have something positive to talk about than just coming on and waffling. Plus the bandwidth wasn't working very well. Anyway, that being said, I want to thank all the new people that have joined our group, and also really encourage you that even though we don't physically see each other, really encourage people in the Zoom meetings, because it is tough. Some people are losing, but some people aren't. And if you're not, or if you're putting on, it's very, very, very difficult. And you can end up getting really upset by the whole thing. And it's really demotivating. And especially if you're on your own, or even if you're in a couple and one of you goes out, you're not in control of the food that you're purchasing, or the food that's out there is not available to you. I mean, we're pretty good. We go into Marks and Spencer. Obviously, we're trying to keep up the standards here of supporting the company I work for, which I love. And I really am very proud of working for them because of what they're doing within the community, but also for our colleagues that are working in stores that are doing their utmost to make sure that the standards of the store are clean and delivering fresh produce. Here we go, clipsy clop, it's Buster, to everybody in the country. So we've been able to get quite a lot of speed food, but we're not going to the shops as we would normally. So we would normally go to the shops 2-3 times a week and pick up some fresh fruit and vegetables. Now Paul is going once a week, and we don't always pick up everything. However, we have been stocking up on our tins. So remember when I did the frugal time about Slimming World, where we were talking about the tins? Well, I'd kept my tins back from there, and I've been adding to them, not stockpiling, but over the weeks I've been adding to them, just because I thought, I might as well practice while I preach. And one thing we did do, which I actually really forgot how much I liked, was tin potatoes. And we did the tin potatoes the other day. I took them out, I drained them, I put them in the oven with some fry light, and they came up as roast potatoes. So we had a roast dinner on Easter Monday, but we didn't have any fresh vegetables. But what we did have, I did a roast dinner using tins. So we had tin potatoes, which were roasted. We did tinned carrots, tinned marrow fat peas, chicken, and I think I had some broccoli and some cauliflower. That's all the fresh vegetables I had. And it was really delicious. We did it really well. You know, Paul really, really liked it as well. He wolfed it down, which is a really good sign that you've done really well. Yesterday's meal didn't go down too well. In fact, I ate his dinner for lunch today because he didn't like it. I can't win them all, and he's a fussitarian. But I think that if you can get out, and if you can't stock up on the speed food, which is your fresh fruit and vegetables, go frozen, go tinned, because there's a lot of tin foods out there that people aren't using. So we've got chickpeas and lentils that I like pulses, because obviously Paul eats pulses. So a tin of lentils and some frozen onions and a tin of tomatoes and some curry powder and some frozen spinach. Fantastic. You've got yourself a curry and throw in some rice, got a curry. Absolutely brilliant. Works. It's all speed food and also free food, and also pulses is protein as well. So you're getting your intake in. So I'm doing things like that. Okay, it's not the wow stuff. It can be a bit boring on occasion when you're eating the same things. But do you know what? My dad, and I'm going to bring up my dad because I love him so much, he used to say, we're camping out. And I think that's exactly what we're doing at the moment. We are camping out. Although we're camping out indoors, we are doing the best of a bad bunch. And it's hard. And I know it's hard. And you know it's hard. But let's all get in it together. Anyway, what shall we talk about today? I had a lady that contacted me, one of my followers on Instagram, and her name is, I think it's Sharon. I'm just going to look up on my iPad. Let's have a look and see what her name is. I think it's Sharon Forgive me if it's not. No, is it? Well, let's get out here. Where are we? Yes, Sharon. She lives in the States, but she used to live over here in the UK. So she has done Slimming World, but obviously Slimming World is not in the States. It's only Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig, and obviously calorie counting, and keto is the biggest thing, isn't it? And paleo and all of that. Anyway, she asked me a message. She sent me this message, and she said, I did Slimming World years ago when I lived in Wales. But now I'm in the USA and we don't have it out here. I've heard Slimming World has had lots of changes and wondered if it's similar to the Weight Watchers Purple plan, which I started today. Previously, I was on green. Once again, congratulations, you're doing fab. And she responded to my 3 stone weight loss, which is here. So I was really pleased. Thought, yeah, yes, love it. Thank you, Sharon, for giving me some inspiration. Let me talk to you about where we're at with everything. So I've put my coffee down, and here is, we got our Slimming World. I've got loads more books in here, look, a couple of bits and pieces. And here was my old Weight Watchers pack, which I actually really loved. And if you remember, if you followed me years ago, the reason I started this channel was through Weight Watchers. So it's actually thanks to Weight Watchers that I got involved in anything. Gosh, look, do you remember these trackers? And then, you know, oh, you're the next coach. In fact, yes, I did. I signed up. I became one, didn't I? So I helped out with Alan. I ended up not being a physical Weight Watchers coach, although I did go through the process and ran it at work. Now, we're going back 3 years ago. Because remember, I left Weight Watchers when Dad died, and it's literally been 3 years since Dad died. And I left Weight Watchers. So there were several things. Now, I'm not just looking at this now, because this was Weight Watchers Flex, this one. And I'm not sure. And I seem to remember when we started out. Let's have a look. So we've got Weight Watchers Flex, and then I've got Weight Watchers No Count, which was on Flex as well. So when I was on Weight Watchers, it was two plans, and then just as I was leaving, they brought the new plan in as well. So I think now, because I don't quote me on everything, because I haven't, although I know some of what's going on in the world of Weight Watchers. What they're doing now, there's 3 programs. I believe it's Blue, which I believe was the new program that I didn't really do. It's Green, which was the old Smart Points, which I did do, and Purple, which was the old No Count. Now, Sharon asked me whether No Count was the same or Purple is the same as Slimming World. And she wanted me to do a video on pros and cons of Slimming World against Weight Watchers. Now, let's go through the reasons why I didn't go back to Weight Watchers. I would have gone back to Weight Watchers. However, when I was going back, and this was back in, this was last August, because I was going back in September, I thought about going back on a plan, and I wanted to go back to Weight Watchers, and I knew that Weight Watchers didn't do Smart Points anymore. And they did this new plan, which I would have had to have learnt all over again. And I thought, well, if I'm going to learn something all over again, I might as well start somewhere completely new. There wasn't any groups around me, because I used to go at work with Alan. The only group that was Kim's group, and Kim still does her group on a Saturday morning, because the Monday evening one in Greenwich I couldn't get to because it was too early for me to get back from work. This was way before I was working from home. So I was thinking about it, and it was and I don't know about you, but I hate rushing. And with my job, especially as it was back then, because obviously I've changed again, at the drop of a hat, I had to stay late. And if I had to stay late, I would miss out on group. So I looked around, and the other one was Saturday, and that was the one I used to go to. And Odette went to that one, and she watches me. So hi, if you're still there, Odette, if you're doing all that. So I loved my group on a Saturday. when I felt very sad that I stopped it. It was in my senior house. It was in a couple of roads down from me, so it was really, really easy for me to get to. But I felt that if I started doing Saturday, I got involved with it, and we finished around about 12, half 12, and I'm a gasser and I like to chat to people, and it's really good fun going to group. And I wasn't getting out there till 1, 2 o'clock. And that was my day gone. And Sunday I spend my days at church, and I'm either doing the children's work, or I'm doing the youth work, or I'm doing something at church. So that's my weekend gone. And I thought, do you know what? I really want a day to myself. So that was the reason why I didn't go back to Weight Watchers. Nothing to do with the programme, nothing to do with anything else, because I really, really liked Weight Watchers. I was Weight Watchers through and through. I lived and breathed it. If you watch my old channel, same channel, but if you watch my old videos, you will see how much I really enjoyed Weight Watchers. Towards the end, though, I was getting a bit petered out. My coach at the time wasn't really into it, and I do think that with all of these things, it is the person that's running the program for you that gives you the motivation. In the end, it was me that was giving all the motivation to everyone, and I was actually paying to do the class, so I felt a little bit, Anyway, I left. Dad was ill. I didn't go back, and once Dad passed, and they were still running the program at work, I didn't really want to go back, because the coach wasn't really motivating me. I was beginning to put on the weight. The coach didn't ever lose weight anyway, and I found that quite difficult. But that's not to say that all coaches are like that, because you can have some really great coaches, and I'm going to shout out to Kim again. So if you do Weight Watchers in Greenwich, whether it's in Blackheath or whether it's actually in Greenwich and it's East Greenwich or it's my senior house, she was absolutely brilliant. She was such a great coach, and I loved her. She really motivated me. She made me laugh. She made me smile. It was a great, great little group that I went to. It was quite a big group, actually, on a Saturday. But I chose not to go, and I chose to go to Slimming World. And there it started, because I started at Slimming World, and Amy had only started in the January. So by the time I got there, she'd had 9 months of doing it. So she was very well established. However, she was on holiday, and I never got my talk from her. I got my talk from somebody else. And I was given the book, and I was given a diet, although it's a lifestyle. I mustn't say it's a diet. But I looked through it, and listen, I'm a seasoned slimmer. I know my diets. I know what I'm meant to be doing. I just don't always adhere to it. And for me, it's about motivation. It's about community. It's about having your tribe as well. It's Buster making noise. And I found that was one of the things that really I needed more than anything. And to be quite honest, when I first started going, I did pick holes in what I was eating and what it was doing, because remember, I was used to points, and I loved smart points, and that was what I did. So if I was to do Weight Watchers today, as in if I was back at my 200 pounds and I was going to start Weight Watchers today, and it was the 3 choices, I would go green. I would do smart points, and the skinnies are going yay, 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 because they were smart points, and they're still smart points girls too. So yeah, I would have done smart points. However, Slimming World is not like Weight Watchers. It's a lifestyle option, and the only thing I think that Weight Watchers is like with Slimming World is the purple plan, which is the old no count, which is a list of foods that you can eat, and you can eat as much as you want until you're full. And although they don't tell you that in Slimming World, they say you can eat as much free food. They call it free food. You've seen the playlist, and then a quarter of your plate is speed food. There's a difference. That's one difference between purple and and Slimming World. With Slimming World, it's cut down between free food, then it's broken down into speed food, which is your lower density in calories. So your green vegetables and your fruits, they are speed. And you're supposed to have, and this is what you need to drum into your head when you want to lose the weight efficiently, you need to have a third of your plate. Do you remember my plates? I've got a third of your plate needs to be speed food, and then the rest of it should be made up of free food and sins if you want sins. Now sins are like points, and this got my head. This was the thing that did my head in, because I was forever calling them points for ages, because I didn't actually like the word sin anyway, but I've got used to it now. But you have less sins than you do points, and I think that I'm sure that it was either, I'm not sure whether it was 12 smart points or whether it for no count, but I know it was I know I was on 23 smart points a day, or was it 32 a week? I can't remember. It's such a long time ago. Anyway, I think that so what I think is that the diet that you do with Slimming World is similar to the purple plan, but it is different as well. And I know that sounds a little bit crazy, but it is a little bit different. Food optimizing teaches you to cook. It teaches you to use all foods. No foods are off limit. A bit like Slimming World, Weight Watchers, no foods are off limit. But it's about cooking from scratch. It's about making the right choices with the right foods and cooking them in a way that's going to provide a meal, not just for yourself, but for your family. It's quite family orientated, whereas, I'm going to get them mixed up. Weight Watchers was never really family orientated. It was more about weight loss goals than anything else. So they are two different models, but if you were to do anything that was similar to Slimming World from Weight Watchers, I would suggest purple would be the way to go. Now, if I had been doing Slimming World and I choose to go to Weight Watchers, what would I choose now? I would choose to do purple. Why would I choose to do purple over doing green, which was Smart Points, which I loved? I think that different seasons in your life, you'll prioritise different things. And I think that when you do, when I did Weight Watchers, I was in my 30s. I was in my 30s. I actually did Weight Watchers in my 20s as well, and I was used to that tracking system. And even though I do my food diaries, because I do like a food diary, there was something about tracking, and I like to track water, I like to track everything. You know, I really like the bullet journals and things like that, and it's quite a younger mindset. Whereas if I was to do it now, being that I'm older and I'm in my mid-40s, I think that Slimming World and the Purple Plan is more focused for the family, if that makes sense, because you're making meals that everybody can eat, and they're more geared around the food, and it's all more about wholesome foods, and it's all about comfort foods, and all of those sorts of things are how you provide for your family. I always talk about Slimming World in terms of how my mum used to cook, about how my nan used to cook, about big, nice, hearty portions of healthy meals. Crock pot cooking is a good one for Slimming World, and also for purple. I also remember, I don't know if you, I've forgotten her name, lady who used to do No Count, who I'll put her name in the link down below, down the bottom, but I'm sure her surname is Coleman. I'll pop it down there. But she used to do all these no count videos, and she used to cook all these great things. Interestingly enough, though, with no count, one of the things that they would do is they would encourage you to create your own own meals and stuff with with the ingredients given, and the difference between that and Slimming World. Some things on Slimming World are called tweaks, which is where you've made yourself something using Slimming World free food, and it was never intended to be eaten like a sinned food, like an equivalent. So an instance of that would be, one of the things we used to do in Weight Watchers was we would dry out chickpeas from the tin and put paprika on them, and they would be like a substitute for peanuts. You wouldn't do that you could do that in Slimming World, but it would be considered a tweak. So you'd have to protect your weight loss. You would have to use it almost as a sin. So there are pros and cons for both of them. So that's the reason. That's what I think physically between the diets, or the Slimming World programs and the Weight Watchers programs, the lifestyles. I have to be careful. I'm going to get slaughtered on Monday next week because I called it a diet. The Slimming World programs. However, what else would I think about, and what do I miss from Weight Watchers? I tell you what I miss about Weight Watchers. There's two major things I think that they do really well. Now, remember, when I did Weight Watchers, I loved it. I loved Jean Niditch. I read her book. I really enjoyed her whole story, and the fact she kept it all off. I thought she was a great inspiration. Loved that woman. The same with Margaret. I've read her book. I think she's really, really great. Like her story too. The setup of the meetings is completely different to the setup of from Slimming World and Weight Watchers. They're still the same. Get up, go and get weighed, get your book done, blah, 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 sit down, all that business. Weight Watchers is a bit more hard sell. They have more products and merchandise. I get that. I used to run the shop. Fun enough, I run the shop again in Slimming World. But it was we were more geared up to sell, whereas in Slimming World you don't so much. And obviously in Slimming World you don't have as many products. You just have your hi-fi bars, and you have your cookbooks. That's what I think Slimming World's really good at. They're really good at cookbooks and providing you the tools to cook, and they're really reasonable. Slimming World cookbooks are like £5 from Group. Fantastic. Or you can get them online at the moment. Absolutely well worth the money. I think that they're really great value. And they have the tracker, but nobody ever tells you must buy this and you must buy that. Whereas in Weight Watchers, it was a little bit more sell. And there was a push from head office for sell as well. So then I was averse to it again. I used to like all of the products that they sold in Weight Watchers. I miss my gummy bears, and do you remember those little hearts and stuff and all that? And the bars that they did, and the crisps and the snacks and the water bottles, and the little calculator. I loved all that. Loved a bit of branding. Really enjoyed it. Miss that. I think the shop's better for Weight Watchers. No, Buster, come away from that. It's making noise again. So sorry. The next thing that I think of about when I think about Weight Watchers that I miss is the way that here we go, Cribsy. The way that Weight Watchers meetings are set up in terms of image therapy, which is Slimming World, and the Weight Watchers core meeting. Out of the two, and this is really controversial, and I'm really sorry, Amy, I prefer a Weight Watchers meeting to a Slimming World meeting. I'm going to get really slaughtered for saying that. But I will tell you why. I will still stay for Slimming World meetings. I'm still doing Zoom meetings. I think there's a real importance about having your tribe around you. But what I can't bear about Slimming World, which absolutely, I don't know, this is, again, I'm going to get into trouble for saying this, but I don't like the whole going around to everybody individually and saying, and this is not saying that you're what your weight's being told, because I don't want to scare anybody off from Slimming World, because that's not what it's about. What they do is they go around and they really do this whole thing around psyching you up, and it's all about psychology of image therapy, and it's about looking at the positive. And if you have put on, it's about looking at what you've actually lost overall, and so you put on a little bit this week, what could you do differently? Your weight's never ever told, or they celebrate with you, but they go around to every single person. That's fine if you've got a group that's an average group of probably 15 to 20 people. It's any more than that. So if I think about going back in January, meetings were going on far too long, and you have to go through every person. Every person has the opportunity in their moment to talk about themselves. Not everybody wants to do that. Some people are a little bit introverted, and even though I've got a gob, I can be a bit introverted about things. And when I first started, I didn't really want to speak about what I was doing, and the fact I was finding the program a bit difficult to begin with, and I felt I was eating too much, and why was it this way, and Weight Watchers did it this way, so why does Slimming World do it that way? I didn't like it. I sort of understand why they do it, but what I would prefer is if they did what Weight Watchers do. Now, Weight Watchers, each week they give you a topic, and your whole group is almost like a going for a little sermon. It's based on a topic, and it might be a particular food, it might be a particular celebration that's coming up, whether it's Mother's Day or something like that, or Easter, and they'd get all the Easter eggs out, and how many points have they got, and what do you do with this, what do you do with that. And they do all that with Slimming World. They have the lifeline online, but what I would prefer to see is in Weight Watchers, they would have the subject online on the blog, and then they would do almost like a little talk about it. And I would like to see that more. And if you wanted to have a bit of image therapy, if you needed it, you could put your hand up and say, look, I'm finding this a real struggle. And then have everybody's support around that. I don't feel it's necessary to go around to everybody. That's my biggest bugbear about Slimming World. But I think it works, and I think it's, I had to change my mindset, because at the beginning, and I remember talking to Mum, and she said, well, yeah, that's exactly how it is. It used to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And I said, I'm not sure if I like the way that's set up. I had to make myself put some of myself into it, rather than actually take to get more out of it. So I think the more you encourage other people when they're in that time, the better you'll be at it. It's a really confusing one, because until you've actually been in that situation, I can't really explain it. I think that if your image therapy is really great, the more people help you out when it's your turn to talk, or when it's your turn to look at where you've been. I don't want to get into trouble over Slimming World with that, because I know it works really, really well for some people. For me, I would prefer a talk, and we had it once actually. We did do it once, where they did it because Amy was quite ill one week, and she did we did a topic, and then we did a couple of, and sometimes they do that. They do like a little game and stuff. I quite enjoy that type of thing. It's just going round and round. I just think it takes too long. I think that's my bugbear with that. My second bugbear with Slimming World against Weight Watchers is, I think Weight Watchers do technology far better than Slimming World. Now, I don't know why that is. It might be because they're in the States, they might have more investment, but even way before Oprah was involved, they've always done technology fantastic. From the time that I went back to Weight Watchers, from having that, do you remember the old doll, the old paper doll? From having the paper doll to having the app, I found it fantastic. You had your diary, you could scan you could scan your food and it would tell you how many points it was, and it was a multiple list. And then it was, and also, there's pros and cons around that, because I understand that Slimming World changes up and down all the time with their sin values. We all know about the Porky Blinders and the Muller Lite Gate, and also, don't even get me started on the Quorn chicken nugget things. But we know, in order to protect our weight loss, the scientists and the food nutritionists at Slimming World are stellar in what they do, in making sure they're stickler to what's going on our plates. So that's a good positive thing. But the app at Weight Watchers was far better than the Slimming World one. Now, I know that we're getting a new Slimming World app, but I have seen the new app because I've got friends that have actually become new Slimming World members in January at work, and they've got the new app and they're showing it to me. So it's got the diary on there, which I like, which is what Weight Watchers had. Don't have the whole, they've got the look up, type it in, do miss my little scanning, and I also miss Connect, which was the Weight Watchers version of Facebook, but it was all in the app, so only Weight Watchers members could access it. And the fact that you could access people from the States and everything, I think that's really, really great. I loved Weight Watchers for their app. So, in conclusion, what do I think? I think that they're both as good as one another. I think that they work well for a certain demographic. You have got weight loss programs for all types of tastes and all types of people, whether it's your paleo, whether it's your keto, whether it's your calorie counting, whether it's your macros, whether it's your points, whether it's sins, whatever it is. There is so many different programs out there, so many different things to do. At the end of the day, what does it all account to? It's calories in, calories out. That is what it all boils down to. The support network that you get around each of them are different, and that's why there's so many, and that's why they all work, because everybody in this world is different. Personally, I am a convert to Slimming World, only because the way that they are set up and their mindset that they're set up is around, it's a lifestyle choice. Now, I know that Weight Watchers is a lifestyle choice too, but I actually think that it's more of a sustainable way of eating. And the reason I say that is, if I was to stop doing points now and go in, I'm not. Now, you know me, you know how I used to talk about points. I would go and have a Happy Meal when I knew that was 21 points. I'd have a cheeseburger Happy Meal, my small fries, my cheeseburger. I'd have a diet drink, and I knew that was 21 points. And that was my dinner. And I ate free food all day. That's what I would do. So I would eat an apple, banana, orange for breakfast. I know that at lunchtime I would have a pot of tuna and salad. I can remember my diary from work. I would post it all up on Facebook and Instagram with loads of balsamic vinegar. I can remember it when I was in my flashback in the restaurant at work doing that, and then in the evening I would use all my points on my main meal, and it could be anything I wanted, and that worked for me. But it was all instant food. It was microwave meals. It was all of those. It was very, very convenience based. Can you live like that forever? If you can, fine. I know that people can. I know that the Skinnies, they have done that, and they've done really, really well with it. I think that a diet that teaches you how to cook, how to use whole foods, how to make the right choices, allowing you to fill up, because I like food and I get hungry, without feeling guilty when you've got the right food in the house. I think that's the way to go. Now, that's why I would choose Slimming World as a lifestyle choice over Weight Watchers. However, if I was in Weight Watchers, knowing what I know now, and if Slimming World was to close tomorrow and I had to go to Weight Watchers, I would go to Weight Watchers because, again, the biggest thing for me is I need a community of people around me. I need my tribe around me. I would join Weight Watchers, but I wouldn't do points. I would do no count, because that would be similar to how I've lived my life for September, October, November, April, 8 months. And I think that I've got into that mindset of change, and I don't think there's any looking back. And even when you go into Fit for Life and you do Slimming Well for Life, so when you're a Target member, you do a new diet, lifestyle. Sorry, I'm gonna get absolutely slated in the comments, aren't I? So when you do, because I have got the new book, I bought it off of eBay. When you look at it, it basically, it's more or less for life what you do. So I think that that's the best way of doing things, because as soon as you stop doing any of this and you go back to takeaway eating, convenience foods, counting calories, because it's not about free food and speed food, it's actually about the amount of calories, and if I'm keeping my calories down to so many a day, I'm tempted by the trigger things. In will come the bread, in will come the McDonald's, in will come all of that. I don't want it anymore. And the reason I don't want it anymore is because the scare I had with my cholesterol. And I think that by keeping to the Slimming World lifestyle, it's sustainable for life. And it works really well for me. It works really well for Paul. Finally, he eats something that I eat, although he didn't eat what we ate yesterday. And I think that's, for me, I think that's the way to go. So that's my sort of ramble. It is a bit of a ramble, but I'm hopefully that you understand exactly where I'm coming from. I'm going to log off now and say goodbye to you all. I am in lockdown mode, so there isn't anything for me to do apart from cleaning and organising the home. So I might start doing a bit more of these little chats. Not 45 minutes. I realise I've gone on far too long again, but I can't help it. Look, I'm on my own. It's in lockdown. But let's keep talking. It might be that I do a quick little video here and there. It may be that I won't, because some days, I'll be honest with you, I'll go up and down. And when if I want to eat, I will stop myself and I'll have water, and I might do myself my Cher Fitness. The Cher Fitness is on YouTube. It's on the YouTubes. I'll put a link down below. The Hot Dance and the Dyna Band one, the Mighty Band, is on YouTube. So if you want to have a go, have a go. And I found there's some more old fitness videos, so Calinetics and Richard Simmons and all of those old and the BBC ones. Oh my goodness, have you seen the BBC? Do you remember? And Lizzie from TVAM and Mr. Motivator. Oh my gosh. Can you imagine? Go out and do all those, because if you're like me and we're stuck in the flat, you can't go anywhere, have some fun doing those. Do those. But definitely chat with me on down below. Give me a message on Instagram. As I say, at the moment I'm at home. I'm not working. I am furloughed. So have a good old chat with me, because I for the next couple of weeks, I need it, and you need it, and we need to be a community together. But I'm going to go now, because I think Poppy really wants a cuddle. I need a cuddle too. Anyway, I will see you next week, hopefully, or in the rest of the week, or somewhere in between. But I will see less of you next week.